I drove 6 hours to my sister's wedding, believing this would finally be the day our family healed. I smiled, gave my name to the wedding coordinator, and watched her face lose all color. She whispered that my name had been removed from the guest list just a few hours earlier. Before I could ask why, my mother walked over, smiled without guilt, and said, "You are not really family anymore." I turned around without making a scene. But 20 minutes later, while the ceremony had just begun, every phone inside that wedding started ringing. By sunset, nobody was celebrating anymore. My name is Evelyn. I grew up believing family meant forgiveness, sacrifice, and showing up no matter what. My younger sister, Laurel, always got more attention, but I convinced myself that was normal. When our father passed away, I handled the hospital paperwork, paid bills, and helped my mother keep the house. Nobody thanked me. They simply expected it. Months later, Laurel announced she was getting married. I was surprised when I received an invitation because we had barely spoken for over a year. Still, I bought a gift, booked a hotel, and drove across 2 states believing maybe this wedding was our fresh start. The venue looked beautiful. Guests laughed, photographers rushed around, and everyone seemed happy. I walked to the reception desk and gave the coordinator my name. She looked at the screen twice. Then she looked at me. "I am so sorry. Your invitation was canceled this morning." I honestly thought it was a mistake. That was when my mother appeared behind me. She calmly said, "Why would we invite someone who is not really family?" I looked at her, waiting for a smile that never came. She explained that Laurel wanted only the real family in the photos. Since I had been adopted as a baby, she believed I did not belong anymore. The words hit harder than I expected. People nearby heard everything, but nobody defended me. I simply nodded. I said, "Then today will be the last day you ever see me as family." I handed the expensive wedding gift back to the coordinator and quietly walked away. What nobody at the wedding knew was that 2 weeks earlier, I had become the legal executor of my late father's estate. He had updated his will shortly before he passed away because he believed everyone in the family deserved fairness instead of favoritism. He also left a sealed letter with instructions that it should only be opened after the wedding. As I drove away, my attorney called. He asked one question: "Did they treat you with respect?" I answered with one word: "No." He quietly said, "Then I will follow your father's final instructions." 20 minutes later, while the ceremony was underway, every immediate family member received the same legal notification. The estate distribution meeting scheduled for the next morning had been canceled. Instead, they were informed that each inheritance required acceptance of the conditions written in my father's letter. One condition stood above every other. Any heir who intentionally excluded or humiliated another legal family member would immediately lose their inheritance rights. The phone started ringing across the venue. Guests watched my mother leave the ceremony in tears. My sister looked confused while relatives whispered around the room. The groom's family had no idea what was happening. That evening, my attorney read my father's final letter. He wrote that a family built on blood alone eventually destroys itself. A family built on love survives forever. He thanked me for standing beside him during his illness when everyone else was too busy. He left me responsibility instead of revenge. He left me peace instead of anger. Several relatives later apologized. Some admitted they knew what my mother planned, but stayed silent because they did not want conflict. Months passed before Laurel finally called. She cried more than she spoke. She admitted she allowed our mother to manipulate everything because she cared more about appearances than truth. I forgave her, but forgiveness did not erase consequences. Some relationships can heal. Others end the moment respect disappears. That wedding was supposed to celebrate a new family. Instead, it revealed the truth about the old one. Sometimes the greatest victory is walking away with your dignity before life delivers justice on its own. I was removed from the guest list that morning. By the next morning, everyone who removed me understood the cost of that decision. Respect cannot be inherited. It must be earned. Walking away was the hardest choice I ever made, but it became the reason I finally found peace.